Okay, are you ready for this? I have flown 14 hours, 6,000 miles to come out here to Kearny, Arizona. We're right between Phoenix and Tucson. We're in mining country. We're in elephant country. Right north of us is the Ray Mine, operated by Grupo Mexico and Asarco. Behind us, you can probably still see the Hayden Smelter, the Christmas Mine, San Manuel. Really, really important copper mining operations. Arizona produces roughly 68% of the copper in the United States, so it's extremely important to the US. We're here to visit a 7 million market cap explorer, Prismo Metals. They have the Hot Breccia project, and we're going to talk to the chairman, the CEO, and the technical advisor to understand what they're chasing. What is the size of the price? Is it going to be the next Resolute copper mine? Is it going to be another San Manuel? Drilling will find that out. Join us for this site visit, learn with us, and enjoy the ride. After meeting up with the team in Kearny and a quick introduction to the project, we hop back into the trucks to head out to site. At the time of filming, Prismo Metals is still waiting for its first ever drill permit for Hot Breccia, which will be a major catalyst for the company coming up. Once received, the company intends to do some minor upgrades to the access road, which are still in okay condition. Up on site, we meet up with Dr. Linus Keating, a PhD geologist living in Tucson and the original claim holder. Since Kennecott destroyed the original drill core, Linus' recollection and description of the core is invaluable to Prismo Metals.
This area, Hot Breccia, is right in the heart of some of the most productive territory. Just to the northwest over here is the Christmas Mine. It was mined since 1900 and it currently has 300 million tons of copper reserves. In the far distance is the smelter of the Asarco Hayden complex and the Ray Mine, one of the largest porphyry coppers in the world. To the south of us is San Manuel and Kalamazoo, which was an enormous BHP operation. So we're in the heart of what goes on. The Hot Breccia property is named because we have breccias. These are actual hydrothermal breccia pipes. They're vertical features that have come up from below as a result of high pressures when the magma intruded the area. And these are explosive events. They're events that you wouldn't want to be standing around when this happens. It would be a very dangerous situation. But they're full of gas, they're full of volatiles, and as a result, they tend to drag and break material and bring it upwards. And the great thing about Hot Breccia is that we have a number of these breccia pipes scattered around, and many of them have beautiful, large, rounded chunks of skarn. Skarn is a rock that was originally limestone, but the chemistry of the intrusive and the alteration that's gone on has totally replaced the limestone in the rock and left behind iron and garnets and a number of higher temperature minerals and also copper and gold. And so we have the advantage at Hot Breccia of being able to see these breccia pipes that have come up from significant depths, and they show us on the surface that deep down we have these bodies of skarn. Skarn develops around the edges of an intrusive in the limestones, and skarn is a major producer of high-grade copper in southern Arizona. Skarn is responsible for the high grades at South 32's Hermosa property. It's responsible for the high grades at the Christmas Mine, just a couple miles northwest of us. And we have these same rocks, these same host rocks, here underneath Hot Breccia. Hot Breccia has a number of facets going for it. It's the sort of property that you can't really call a greenfields exploration property because we have holes and we have the breccias, and we know that at depth there could be significant mineralization.
Talking about breccias, it's time to take a closer look at some of the outcropping mineralization. We catch up with Greg Gibson. He's the Chief Exploration Officer over at Prismo Metals, and he explains to us the significance of the outcrop and what it potentially indicates. It's time for some geology. So Greg, where are we standing here?
Basically, we're right here. We came originally up this wash, left the truck there, got into UTV, came up this creek here and up this dirt road. So we're right here.
It's the heart of the Hot Breccia project?
Yes, this is an area of historic drilling shown by these orange circles with the black dot in the middle. And then the green circles with the black dot are the sites we have permitted or in the process of permitting. So we're doing some of the same sites, but some additional ones to give us leeway to drill in other areas if necessary. It's important because that was a unit that was associated with mineralization at the nearby Christmas mine. And then it's also important because this rock, as it came up through the sedimentary rock sequence, the carbonates, limestones, it picked up pieces of those rocks and brought them up to the surface, and we'll go look at that. But there's actually fragments of high-grade mineralization that have been brought up from over 500 meters below the surface here. And actually down below there's a dark green rock to the right, on the right side. Farther up this way there's a dark green rock in the gray rock, and that's a garnet skarn. So all these were limestone at one time, and the hydrothermal fluids that came in have replaced them and formed magnetite skarn here, these two, garnet skarn there. But what you see when you look at the gold, now gold, basically anything over a gram per ton is red or magenta, and not much where we are here, but all the way around here. And that's an interesting feature because commonly copper is in the center of a system, and as you go outward you get other metals, and gold is one of those. So although these deposits in Arizona commonly do not have much gold in with the porphyry style mineralization, they can have gold around there, and it's a secondary target we have is potentially a gold deposit associated with this, although it's not our primary objective.
Gold is more in the skarn while copper is in the porphyry centers?
No, it's actually the skarn here has very little gold. These are veins and structures. They're mainly iron oxide right now, so you can't see exactly what was there before, but they have much more gold than in the center part of the system. It's interesting, you got a zoning pattern around this. It gives you another idea. This is the place to be.
After inspecting the Hot Breccia outcrop with Greg, we walk about 150 meters up the road to inspect the location of drill hole number 1 that was originally drilled by Kennecott in the late 70s.
Right, so here we are at hole number 1 that was drilled back in the 1970s by a Kennecott subsidiary, Bear Creek Mining. And this is maybe 50 yards up the hill from the main breccia showings at the Hot Breccia property. The namesake breccias are just down the hill, and they really are the inspiration for the exploration that's been done on the property to date and for our exploration going forward. We're on the, I guess it would be northeast end of a big geophysical anomaly, conductive anomaly at depth that was detected with our ZTEM survey, and it extends to the southwest about 1.3 kilometers. So this area looks like it's got a big conductor underneath of it in an area where we should have limestones. Now the limestones are not supposed to be conductive, so we have to have an explanation why they would be a conductor. One of the good explanations, as far as I'm concerned, is maybe they're highly mineralized with copper. Linus, you were working with Kennecott back in the early days and re-sampled some of the core. You actually saw the core that came out of these holes before they were destroyed. Maybe you can speak to the potential that you see here.
Right, so Kennecott drilled 7 holes in this area in 1977, 1978. Subsequent to that, in the early 90s, I was a area manager for Kennecott based in Tucson, and we had an enormous core warehouse which included, amongst many other projects, the original core that they drilled here at Hot Breccia. And we had a suspicion that there might be some gold in some of those cores, and I had the opportunity to go back through the entire pile of core, that is all 7 holes, and we resampled it for gold. But more importantly, I had a chance to really see the nature of the skarn. And in numerous holes, hole number 1, hole number 7, which is over there, hole number 8, which is over the ridge on the other side, we saw long instances, 500, 700 plus feet of skarn mineralization, retrograde, garnet, amphibole, calcite, with scattered chalcopyrite and scattered sphalerite. So we're excited about these drill holes. This, together with the pebble dikes and breccias, the fragments of skarn that we've seen coming up from below, these drill holes help to elevate the Hot Breccia project from a greenfield sort of level towards a brownfield level. And the reason for that is that Kennecott's drilling intercepted a number of significant intercepts. These are 30, 40, 50 feet intercepts of anywhere from 0.7 to over 3% copper with 3% zinc.
I think one of the interesting things about what we've got here for empirical evidence is we can tell that there's pretty widespread alteration. I mean, this looks like a big system, and we know that it's well mineralized in certain areas. Some of the breccia fragments that we sampled on surface, measuring well over 5% copper. And so we know we've got grade, we know we've got size, and it's a matter of getting a drill down into it to see if we can better define scope and scale.
Yep. So, our concept of a drilling program is still in the nascent stages, but I think the idea is that at least one of these old holes we want to twin again. It'll give us a good control over the nature of the skarn mineralization. And then once we've done that, maybe we step out a little bit and begin heading towards the Z-TEM anomaly and seeing if we can drill in to the causative magmatic body that could produce us significant tons in grade. Something I'd like to add too is that we have a tremendous advantage having these old drill holes here. The amount of money that Kennecott Conoco probably spent in the mid-70s would be well over $1 million today in terms of drilling and exploration. And that's something that we don't have to spend. That's something that Prismo can take advantage of and turn into a success. So it's really neat that we have a property that already has significant investment into it and has some success.
Yeah, I love it. It's just like our business is always, we're standing on the shoulders of the generation that went before us. So,
after a quick bite, we walked back to the trucks and headed out. Now, President Steve Robertson took us for a drive in the surrounding area to point out some interesting highlights around Hot Breccia.
We're on Highway 77. We're actually going right through the property, the Hot Breccia property, and we're going to be going next to the Christmas mine. We'll get a good view of that. So right on our right-hand side, we've got the Gila River, which is one of the largest water bodies in the state. And we're going through the uplifted carbonate section. So if you'll recall that section that we were looking at showing the difference between the geology at the Christmas mine and Hot Breccia, we're on that uplifted section on the left-hand side, and you can see the beautifully bedded limestones right next to the highway here. Yeah,
and that's sort of what you're seeing on Hot Breccia as well. There's, but just lower down, is that exactly what we're looking at?
Yeah, exactly. We know we've got these same rocks there, but we don't see them at Hot Breccia because they're not exposed on surface. They've been dropped down, and they've got the thick Williamson Canyon volcanics sitting on top of them. So these same rocks are there. They're just not exposed at surface, which is fabulous for us. I mean, thinking that there's a productive hydrothermal system going on in those carbonate rocks while it's being hidden, the treasure is being hidden by the mask sitting on top of it.
So I'm on my way back to the airport. I think it is time to summarize what we have seen here at the Hot Breccia project And it's time to summarize our thoughts and impressions and where we think things are going. So, Prismo Metals is a 7 million market cap explorer with 3 really interesting projects, and I believe the market is giving most value to the Paulus Veders project that they're exploring together with Vizsla Silver. Vizsla Silver is putting money into the company to explore, and they formed a technical committee together with Peter McGaw and the technical team at Prismo to target. They will be drilling from Vizsla ground. Fine, great. But let's talk Hot Breccia. A really, really interesting project, very early days, very underexplored. Only a few drill holes have been put in. Sadly, the core is not available, so the company will be twinning some of the holes that have been drilled by Kennecott in the past. But that's fine. Like, the grades were great. They're in the right area. I hate to say it because I hate the term. They are in elephant country. There's the Ray mine, the Christmas mine, the San Manuel mine. Resolution copper is not far away. Half an hour up the road, not even. And those 5 drill holes could make a world of difference for the company. They are targeting the right horizons, and if those drill holes hit, we're off to the races. Yes, they will have to raise money. It's an exploration company. Can't be, you can't ignore that. That's a fact. So there will be some dilution coming down the pipeline to fund exploration and fund the drilling. But I think it is worth the trade-off. I like taking those chances. As I said, they're doing the right work. They've done the right and proper targeting. The indications are there. Let's hope they hit. Let's wish them all the best. I'm along for the ride, and really appreciate you joining us here on SF Live on site. My name is Kai Hoffman. I'm the JR Mining Guy on Twitter, and thanks so much for following us, and thanks so much for watching.